Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour 2, Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. One more hour for us here on Radio Row at SEC Media Days 2026. 4 teams rolling through today. LSU started things off. Then we heard from Arkansas, Texas Longhorns, and Mississippi State Bulldogs this afternoon. Let's talk about the Hogs. John Neighbors inside Arkansas is good enough to give us a little bit of time here. You tired?
I am, I've had more energy in my life, but you know what? After hearing Ryan Silverfield and the Arkansas Razorbacks, buddy, I am buzzing right now.
I love to hear that. What was the reaction? It was a wild hiring cycle for everybody. Certainly, we were not immune to that down in Baton Rouge. What was the reaction when Ryan Silverfield was the call?
To be honest, it was a weird thing because I don't know if you remember, but there was some reports, quote unquote, that Arkansas was about to hire Alex Golesh a few days before. It wasn't true, and I think when Silverfield ended up being the guy, because of Hog fans kind of starting to believe in that, it was kind of like the rug got pulled out from under him, and it was a pretty negative reaction, not necessarily towards him. It was more towards the whole situation in the administration, because there's not a lot of love for the administration in Razorback land right now. So it was a crazy time. Never want to go through it again, but I think he's coming around on some people.
Is there any evidence that Alex Golesh is like a way better hire than Ryan Silverfield?
I don't think there is. It's just a matter of, like, Golesh was still kind of a new, where he had been at Tennessee, and remember that offense. And so I think a lot of fans connected as like, hey, this guy who knows what it's like in the SEC and knows how to have a great offense in the SEC. And Silverfield was just like, well, he's only been a head coach at one place, and it's been Memphis, and he's had some success. But, this guy just seems like a little bit splashier, a little bit more fun, when this other guy just seems to be all right.
You told that story today about the lights weren't bright enough and they had to repaint the walls in there. Like, how much work does Arkansas need to do on itself in football moving forward?
I don't even think I could spend enough time talking about the work that they need. And again, it's just to be honest about Silverfield and the situation he's walking into. We all know it's tough. I mean, but this day and age, transfer portal, recruiting, everything has changed so much to where you don't have these 4-year rebuilds anymore as much. I mean, you can get going right away. But it's just a matter of Arkansas does not have the funding. They do not have the forward thinking. They do not have the embracing of all the newness and craziness of college football. They're a very reactionary program in an athletic department instead of being proactive. And I think it's really set them behind the 8 ball, where I like Silverfield. Silverfield could be the greatest coach ever. But if he's not being set up for success financially and with the system in place, then it's not going to matter how good of a coach he is.
I had to change my thinking on college football because of Indiana. I mean, I thought for a time it was like, okay, there's like 15 programs that can get this done and the rest of them can't. And then Indiana does that for 2 years. Does it change the way people in Fayetteville think about college football?
For sure. And in fact, I remember when NIL especially started becoming a thing. I was doing my radio show in Arkansas, and I even said, like, this is Arkansas's best chance. When it was first announced, I'm like, this is their best chance to try to narrow the gap.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that Arkansas has been terrible forever, but every Razorback fan knows, hey, we're not LSU, we're not Georgia, we're not Texas, we're not Alabama. But this was a way to kind of narrow that, to try to get an advantage, because Arkansas does have a pretty good setup with some companies, some branding, some funding, and donors and all of that. But because of the administration and their lack of being able to accommodate that, and being so against and resistant to NIL because they're just waiting for somebody to bail them out, the rules, the government, the NCAA, that's never going to happen. And so I think that it should be better. And because Indiana, I'm like, that's exactly the example that you got to have coaching, you got to have players. Everyone knows that. But if Indiana, which was literally the worst program ever, can win a national championship, literally who can't? Who cannot, if they have the right people and the right coach and the right mentality, who can't win a championship?
Just embarrass Alabama in the Rose Bowl, just not even competitive. It changed the way I thought about it, for sure.
Arkansas hasn't beaten Bama since the Bush administration, and that's not a joke. They literally haven't, so I'm jealous of them.
It's been a minute. Tell me about this team. Got to start at quarterback. What do we know?
Well, what we know is it's between 2 guys.
Yeah.
KJ Jackson and AJ Hill. KJ Jackson, the player who was on the Razorback football team last year, the backup for Talon Green, and then AJ Hill is the transfer from Memphis that followed Ryan Silverfield over. Ryan Silverfield's not naming a starter. In fact, the more he talks about it, the more I'm starting to believe, he's not going to name a starter literally until like game week. It's just not going to happen. But from what I understand from people I've talked to, it's KJ Jackson. He's going to be the starter. He was a pretty highly recruited player coming out of high school. He's got all the intangibles. It's just in the spring, it just didn't look great. It just didn't look great. So just where it stands right now, I think that there's potential there. I think he's got great athleticism. I think he's got a cannon for an arm. But when it comes to just getting the ball to the receivers and running the offense and being QB1, as you guys know, it's like you can be backup, it's a little bit easier. But to be QB1 and be that leader, that's what's yet to be determined.
Ron Roberts is going to run the defense. People in South Louisiana are very familiar with him. Spent some time at Southeastern Louisiana as the head coach there and has been at a number of stops in the SEC. Do they have the talent level on that side of the ball yet?
It's going to be better than what it has been, which isn't saying much.
Right.
I mean, it's been horrible for defense. But my thing that I really like, and again, it's about executing it, but I really like where the type of defense they have formatted is, yes, they got Quincy Rhodes back, who was here at Media Days, and Quincy Rhodes is a beast. He's a preseason all-SEC caliber player on the edge. But they're not going out and being like, hey, we got to get those players that LSU has up front that are 300 pounds and these big athletes and 5-stars, because you're not going to get those. So what do? How do we get after the quarterback? Because that's been their main focus. Let's get some of these hybrid players. Let's get some of these nickel players, these guys that can be fast off the edge. They got a Jamonte Waller kid that transferred from Auburn who, he's like 6 foot nothing, but he's 240 pounds, but he comes off the edge really well. Sack of Souls, as they call him, from Kentucky, the transfer there. It's like they got some guys that they're just saying, hey, we may not be able to have a 6'6", 296 pound guy that runs a 4.4 coming off the edge. So instead of worrying about getting the guy with big size and speed, let's just get the guy with speed and have him have some size and try to do it that way. So they're going to be really creative and just trying to get after the quarterback, because that's going to be their main focus defensively.
If you were in charge of Arkansas football and could have a direct line to the SEC office, who would you play the last game of the regular season?
LSU.
Okay.
It's the greatest college football rivalry in all time. But what do you mean? I can't believe that this is not being discussed more. It's the battle for the Golden Boot, man.
How do you feel about Missouri? Nobody cares?
You know what? And I mean this. Arkansas views Missouri as that rivalry thing the same way I'm sure LSU views Arkansas. It's kind of like, why? And it sucks because Missouri has won more often than they have against Arkansas. But it's like, this isn't as fun. Like, we had LSU, and it's not to say that every game was this epic game, but there were some games of note, and there were some times where the winner won the SEC West in the early mid-2000s. There's a little bit of history there, but it's just not the same for Missouri. So I'm really happy it's back at the end of the year. I don't know how LSU fans feel, but Arkansas fans love it.
We'll see. I mean, LSU's a man without a country, without a rival. There's no one that LSU really dislikes that LSU's even like the top 2 on their list. Florida doesn't care about LSU. They got other things to worry about over there. It's the same type deal. Bama's got Auburn and Tennessee. LSU's not on the top of anybody's list.
The same thing with Arkansas. So I just take the mentality of like, hey, just hate everybody equally. Then everybody's your rival.
More excitement for John Calipari's next team or Dave Van Horn's next team?
John Calipari. And not to say that Dave Van Horn won't have a really great team, because he did a good job in the portal. And last year was such a massive disappointment, only 17 SEC wins.
Yeah,
but it was, though. But no, for basketball, Cal, he's brought in the #1 recruiting class, a bunch of 5-star freshmen. He's gone overseas and gotten a couple of guys like Mika Murinen and Ilya Frolov, who are 5-star overseas players. He got Billy Richmond to return this year. He did some things in the transfer portal. Got Jeremiah Wilkinson from Georgia. Cooper Bowser is another nice little piece there. And they got reclassified guys, Davion Thompson and Caleb Arrigu. These guys who were supposed to be next year's class, but they're under this year's class. This is going to be the most absurd team I've ever seen in my life, because I think the average age is, and I'm not kidding about this, 18 years and 2 months. That's the average age.
That's zigging when everybody else zags.
Yeah.
Everybody else is 23.
I'm like, hey, man, this feels like a Cal team of 2011 right now. But so the talent's there, the upside's there, the athleticism and excitement's there. But, I mean, hey, they're a bunch of young kids. Like, Billy Richmond's the old man, and he's only been there for 3 years. So it should be a lot of fun. And as long as Cal's there, it's always going to be interesting. But, there's upside, but still some concern.
John, we appreciate the time. Safe travels going back to Arkansas.
Hey, I'll do my best. Can't wait for that Golden Boot. Let's have some fun.
Right after Thanksgiving, baby. It's John Neighbors from Inside Arkansas talking about the Razorbacks. Here from Radio Row in Tampa, we're brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Reb Fiverr. Got another 50 minutes here, so stick with us. It's a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show. Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, online at fabrychevrolet.com, fabrychevrolet.com. Look, Chevy's offering bonus cash on select new vehicles to firefighters, police officers, 911 dispatchers, EMT paramedics. They've got inventory to fit any budget on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You can check out the entire inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. Every single car that's on the lot is online. If you're looking for new vehicles, they've got them. Looking for pre-owned vehicles, they've got them. Looking for great deals, they've, of course, got those as well. They're right there on the website. But go by and get that incredible customer service that you get from the folks at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The Fabry family's been at this for 35 years. It's because they take care of their customers. Make that short drive from Baton Rouge to surrounding areas to Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. Relief Windows. And Red Fiber.
Bank and Trust, First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com. You don't have to go to the website. Just go to a branch because there's 25 of them throughout Southeast Louisiana. Started up in 1910. 116 years later, they're still rocking and rolling. They're the local bank. If you've got a commercial loan that you're looking for, First American Bank and Trust. If you're looking for a personal loan, First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a local bank where when you make a phone call, you're not getting a call center in Chicago or San Francisco. You're getting someone in Southeast Louisiana. If you're applying for a loan, that approval is being made in Southeast Louisiana by someone in Southeast Louisiana. It's First American Bank and Trust. Don't think of them as small. Think of them as a community bank. Don't think of them as small. 25 locations. They've got the resources to help you with your commercial loan. It's First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com. Man, it's been a fun week, and we've had a lot of great discussions, a lot of laughs, a lot of great content, met a lot of great people, talked to a lot of great people. I sat down a little bit earlier today with Kelley Jones, who's an all-conference cornerback from Mississippi State. You'll hear that coming up in about 15 minutes. Matt's going to get us, going to get you home this evening on AFR. He'll actually take over in our next segment because I'm going to head to the airport, and he'll be on with you until 6 o'clock Central Time. I'll be back in studio tomorrow. Looking forward to getting my feet on the ground and having a great show to close out the week tomorrow. But we still got to finish strong here, and I want to do it talking about LSU's safety play. We've gone through our in-depth chart series, went all the way through the offense, now getting to the back end of the defense. And look, replacing A.J. Halsey is going to be tough. Like, he was phenomenal last year, just jumped off the stat sheet the same way he did at his first 2 collegiate stops. Made 88 tackles. That was second on the team. He led the defense with 3 interceptions. Just an absolute ball hawk in every sense of that cliche. Colts took him in the 3rd round. That's a tough guy to replace. But you've gone out in the transfer portal and gotten someone with very, very similar statistical background. That's obviously Ty Benefield. And you also have some guys coming back. You've got Tamarcus Cooley coming back. You've got Deshaun Spears coming back. These guys have played a lot of football. And so I think LSU has got a lot of talent at the safety position. Tamarcus Cooley has started 22 games. He started all 13 for LSU last year, played safety, played nickel, made 70 tackles last year, had 2 interceptions. He's bigger than I thought when I looked at the measurables. He's 6 feet and 206, and he plays really hard. One of the things, like, Jake and Flynn watch a lot of all 22, and those are the film guys. Like, I'm not going to sit there and try to break down film like they can. But they love the tape on Tamarcus Cooley because of the effort that he plays with. And he may not be a traditional safety in terms of his height and his size. He may not be the best cover guy, but he gives you toughness, he gives you willingness to tackle, and he gives you a lot of experience as well. Deshaun Spears could have gotten in the transfer portal, and I'm honestly surprised he didn't. I'm honestly surprised Deshaun Spears did not transfer, because that's a guy who came in as a very, very highly rated recruit and is kind of sat. Like, he played 255 snaps last year, and he was healthy. Whit Weeks was hurt the whole year and played 309. Spears only played, again, 255. Like, that, he played less snaps than Ahmad Bro played last year, who was a reserve defensive lineman. But he stuck it out. And, by the way, when he was on the field, Deshaun Spears was an impact guy. He graded 90.1 overall on defense from Pro Football Focus. That's an elite grade. Now look, he had an incredible game against Florida where he had the 2 interceptions. He graded a 90.3 in coverage, which wasn't over the course of a ton of snaps. But he made 19 tackles. He only missed 1 tackle last year, which is a really important stat for safeties. By the way, when safeties miss tackles, really bad things happen. And he did not miss tackles last year, and he made plays on the ball. And he's got great size, and he's got great speed. And I think he's going to be your star player this year. That's the position. Blake Baker works with that position group now, and I think he's going to be that. And I think in the back end, you're going to have Benefield and Tamarcus Cooley. And I really think this is a big, big key for LSU's entire defense. LSU's safety play 2 years ago was atrocious, just awful. It was to the point that Brian Kelley was saying that publicly in the media. He's like, yeah, we have to play better at safety. Like, just awful. You're giving up big plays, missing tackles. It was awful. And they have completely overhauled that because you brought in Cooley, you brought in Halsey, Spears grows up, now you go get Benefield. And look, when we were talking to some of the LSU players today, they were talking about guys in leadership roles, and Ty Benefield was mentioned as a guy who's out there being vocal with this new team. And I think that's awesome because I think it's always a good thing when your best leaders are your best players. It just means more when someone who's got that level of accomplishment to his name is saying something as opposed to some reserve. And Benefield appears to be that guy. So as I said yesterday in this segment when we were talking about cornerback play, I am concerned about the depth at cornerback for LSU. But I think the fact that you've got 3 safeties you can really, really trust is a way to Band-Aid that and to make that less impactful. Beyond those guys at the front, and those are going to be your 3 starters, you've got Jace Thomas, who I know the staff likes a lot, played 33 snaps on special teams last year. He blocked the punt against Texas A&M. That was like the highlight of that night before it became the worst night. But that was a really good play. CJ Jim Coyley is probably a linebacker. He's listed a linebacker on the LSU website, but he's going to play star. He's big and rangy, 6'3", and can really run. So he'll back up Deshaun Spears at that star spot. And then you've got Fahim Delane, who comes in as a former 4-star recruit. Obviously, he's got a lot to live up to in terms of his name because his brother had one of the best seasons in the history of LSU football last year. But he's a guy that's probably waiting in the wings to take over because you're going to lose Benefield, you're going to lose Cooley, and you could lose Deshaun Spears after this year, and you may have to overhaul that group. And I think Fahim Delane is a prime candidate for that. He's only played as a freshman at Ohio State. He'll be a sophomore this year, and obviously you've got 5 for 5 to play, so he'll have a lot of eligibility left. He's probably a guy that's in the back end of that. And then Aiden Hall and Isaiah Washington are your 2 freshmen. Aiden Hall was a consensus 4-star recruit. He's really big. Saw him in spring football, 6'2", about 200 pounds, and is another guy that they're really excited about on the back end of that defense. But this is one of the strengths of LSU's team, the safety position. I don't think there's any question about that. There have been positions where I've told you I have concerns, and I always feel some sort of like guilt whenever I say negative things in July because it's optimism season and no one wants to hear you complain. But I'm also going to tell you what I really think. And like, I am concerned about LSU's ability on the defensive front. I am concerned about LSU's cornerback depth. I am concerned about Sam Levitt's health at times. Like, there are things that do concern me, but there are also some real strengths on this team. I feel like LSU is in a great spot at safety. It is going to be an absolute strength of this team. I think that they've done a great job of overhauling that position, and it's really good to be strong in the back end. Those guys can change games with what seem like routine plays. If you get that guy on the ground as opposed to busting it for that big run like LSU gave up constantly in 2023, then it changes the game. And I think LSU is going to be really, really good at the safety spot. So that's a big positive for the Tigers. Just watch out for Ty. I don't feel like we're overhyping Ty Benefield. I feel like this is a time where overhyping happens. I don't think it's happening with Ty Benefield. I think he's going to be an absolute stud at LSU. So that's a look at safety. We've gone now across the entire LSU defense, and we'll do some special teams tomorrow to kind of wrap things up for in-depth chart. And then when we come back, there's only 1 week until LSU reports the Saints report on Tuesday of next week. I will say this in kind of concluding my time here at SEC Media Days, that the idea to hold Lane Kiffin and Texas with Arch Manning and Sark for the last day and Texas for the last slot kind of worked. Like, there's not much going on Radio Row at this point. A lot of folks have packed up and headed out. But I looked in the ballroom in that last commercial break to see what was going on as Sark was talking. There's a real crowd in there. And it was like, I know this is not, like, important to y'all as the consumers of the content, like how the content, like what's behind the camera. But, like, there was no one in the College Football Hall of Fame last year when those teams were going through. It was Eli Drinkwitz made a comment about it. Like, I think there are, like, 250 seats in that room. I'm serious when I tell you I think there are like 17 people in there last year. There's closer to 80 people in there right now. So it did kind of pay off from that perspective. I hope sincerely that LSU is moved back towards the front of the line moving forward. I don't know why they would make that decision after this kind of worked, but it makes our life a lot easier to have the content loaded up on the front end of media days as opposed to all jammed into the back end. But I thought today was really good, and I thought the week was really good from all perspectives. It's always one of the most fun weeks of the entire year, and now it's just about coming to a close. Matt is going to be here with you from 3 to 6 for AFR, and he's got a lot of great stuff coming. LSU was kind enough to bring all the players by. You'll hear from them, and it's a group that did a great job, I thought. If you missed my comments on the LSU contingent this morning, I opened the show with it. You can catch that on demand, Hunt on LSU. I thought Lane Kiffin did a strategic thing and filibustered his address to the big room and went 17 minutes without a question being asked, and then only took 4 questions in that big room when a lot of guys are getting 15 or 16. But I thought he came off okay, and then the players I thought did an awesome job, and we've got some content up at louisianasports.net that you can check out. You can go to the teams tab, go to LSU, and then go to LSU football. I've got a story up right now on the leadership of this team with such massive turnover and a new top of the food chain. And Lane Kiffin, Whit Weeks talked about that. TJ Daugherty talked about that. And I thought that was interesting. And also a news update on Sam Levitt, who's recovering from foot surgery. He's kind of leading the team through some workouts, and that's one of the reasons why he was not here today. That's kind of the news perspective of what we got this morning, so I wrote that up at louisianasports.net. All that is free whenever you go to the website. It's all free right there for you at louisianasports.net. I've got a story coming tomorrow on TJ Daugherty and his journey from Oxford to LSU and what went into that decision and whether or not he's going to be all amped up when they go back to Oxford and how he's assimilated to things in Baton Rouge. I thought some of his quotes on that were really fascinating, and Whit Weeks gave me a great one-on-one quote about him. Said they are just best buds. They hang out all the time, and it's been really great to have another guy right there. Of course, like TJ Daugherty's literally filling in the shoes of Whit's brother, West, who was next to him last year. So you're not going to be quite that close, but it's a great thing for them. And I'll write that up, and we'll have it up on the website tomorrow. All right, I'm out of here on a jet plane. We're going to head back to NOLA and then head on back to Baton Rouge. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. I hope you all have enjoyed. This has been a great week for us, and we appreciate our great sponsors for making that happen. That's, of course, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction, Roofing, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber. Do need to give one more shout-out to my friends at Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Give Sean a shout. He is happy to help you out with some beef. Buy a side, buy a quarter, buy a whole cow. It's as good a beef as you will ever have. It is absolutely phenomenal. Prime Angus beef, in some cases, double the standard for prime. That's what Sean's got in Ethel, just north of Baton Rouge at Sagrera Farms. Give him a call, 225-719-1723. That's 225-719-1723. And say, hey, look, I heard about you on Hunt's show. I'd love to stop by and check out the farm and bring home half a cow. He'd love to have you. It will change the way you enjoy beef at home. It has done that in the Palmer House, and it certainly can for you as well. Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. All right, we'll take a time out. When we come back, you will hear my sit-down with Kelley Jones, cornerback from Mississippi State. Talk to him about some Two Brothers wings, as well as defending a Lane Kiffin offense. And Saints fans will be fired up to hear who his favorite receiver to go against was. So that'll be a sit-down that we have next. Matt will close out the show, and then he'll come to you from 3 to 6 Central from Radio Row here in Tampa. I'm out of here. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. It doesn't have to be a full-scale renovation remodel. They can do that. They can do it soup to nuts, the entirety of it. They don't have to do that. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's something like a tub-to-shower conversion. They can take out the tub that you maybe don't use, or maybe it's not functioning properly, and use that space, something you'll use, a shower. change the aesthetic of your bathroom and change the functionality of your bathroom as well, add a little value to your home. David Duvall is the best. He'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. It's One Bath and Closets. Get that free consultation and check them out online at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Mississippi State going through the car wash this afternoon. We're joined now by Kelley Jones, junior cornerback for the Bulldogs. Appreciate some time. How's this been for you?
Oh, it's been great. I'm just thankful to be here. Very thankful. Just grateful. A guy like me being from Mississippi, the Mississippi Delta, just waking up every day with an opportunity. I'm just happy to be here.
Is it fun to go through all this, or is it, does it get old?
No, definitely. No, it's fun to me. I do it all night if I got to.
So you can do this for about 10 minutes here. I'm curious. I looked up your bio, and you've been at Mississippi State for 4 years.
Most definitely.
In this era, no matter what sport it is, guys generally transfer a time or two, and you have not. Why?
Because I feel like it's not about money. It's about legacy. And I want to be one of the people that come through Mississippi State history. Was one of the best. The kids look at me like Kelley Jones did it. I can do it too. So that's my biggest thing.
So Rivers here, she is from Starkville. She went to Mississippi State. She works with us, and she took me up to Starkville for a baseball series this past spring. Two brothers, the wings. Best wings I've ever had.
Fire.
Is that the best food in Starkville?
Yes.
My man, that was so good. We did our show from there. I knocked down about 12 wings on set. It was killer. Loved it. Zach Arnett coming back on staff at Mississippi State. He obviously spent time there under Coach Lease, was the head coach for a year, and then went to Ole Miss, honestly, for a year and then came back. What's it been like to see him come back into the fold of Mississippi State?
It's been great. It makes me more comfortable, you know what I'm saying? He recruited me while I was in high school, and just knowing that him coming back, he just give me more leeway to just be a leader and be more vocal. And, like, the things he wants for me is just none to be the greatest. Like, if he wanted me to follow the best receiver, I'm willing to do it. Like, he don't even want me coming out the game. That's how much he wanted for me. So he's very hungry, and we hungry as well.
Like at Mississippi State last year, the record didn't go the way you wanted it to. What is Coach Leppy's message to y'all how to bounce back from that season?
Finish. Be the best person we can be each and every day, knowing that you can't get time back because once it's over, it's over. Just being dialed in, just knowing that the game that we supposed to be finished last year, it hurts, you know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing is just finishing and just being the best team that ever come out.
Chatting with Kelley Jones, junior cornerback for Mississippi State here on Radio Row in Tampa SEC Media Days. Kelley was a third-team All-SEC cornerback last year, according to the coaches. I was looking at some statistics for you, man. 11 out of 38, only 29% against you last year. What allows you to be as effective as you are on the team's best receivers?
I just feel like just me being dialed and just doing the thing my coach telling me to do with my length and my speed, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like I like me over anybody. I feel like if they ain't Brenton Thompson speed or like Chris Brazo height or Trey Green height, then they have no chance, you feel me? So it's just really more so about me and not about them. So I just do the things I do to just be the best person I can be.
Is there a guy last year that you played against that you felt like was the most fun or the most challenging, the game you enjoyed the most on the wide receiver?
I would definitely say Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, and I would say Texas A&M receiver, Casey Concepcion, and Ryan Wingo from Texas.
So we're in Baton Rouge. We cover the Saints closely. Obviously, Jordan Tyson was their first-round pick. Tell us about his game and what makes him as good as he is.
I feel like he's a very great player, very detailed, very orange. I feel like he's a great teammate to his teammates as well. He's not a big trash talker. Like, he's a very great guy. So I was just happy to go against a great guy like that and just being thankful, even just being in the moment, even guard him.
Do you think Ole Miss fans hate Mississippi State more or LSU more now?
Like a minute 30 left.
I would say they hate Mississippi State more.
That's understandable. What's it like to play in the Egg Bowl? It's one of my favorite rivalries. I don't have a dog in that fight, but what's the Egg Bowl like?
It goes way back, you know what I'm saying? Even when we were younger. So I just feel like it's a very great game, like going against guys like Q1 Lacey and Trinidad Chambers, just knowing that they coming out with fire, and that we got guys like Mario Taylor and Kelley Jones and Isaac Smith. Like, we got guys as well. So it's a very good game to play, just going into they stadium is the red, white, and blue, and the Bulldog coming to try to take over.
Mississippi State's got a great tradition of defense over the years. What's it going to take to get back to that type of Bulldog defense?
Being more hungry, you know what I'm saying? Just going through the things that we did last year, knowing that we weren't able to finish, you know what I'm saying, because the other team was the best team, the better team as well. So I just say, like, just being dialed in and just, you know what I'm saying, not running away from it.
Kelley Jones is our guest for a couple more minutes here on Radio Row in Tampa, Florida. LSU fans haven't seen a Lane Kiffin offense in purple and gold. They certainly saw it in Oxford. You've seen it up close and personal on multiple occasions. What's it like to play defense against Lane Kiffin's offense?
I feel like he give you multiple variations of different things. You know what I'm saying? He got good guys that can beat you with anything. So I just feel like you have to be very detail-oriented in what you do against those guys because he's a very great coach. And I feel like if you slip up at any moment, you will pay.
How many cowbells do you own?
A lot. A lot.
Do you like the sound of the cowbells when you're out there on the field?
Yes, I love it. I feel like we got one of the loudest stadiums in the country.
Yep. There's no question about that. You been to a baseball game at that new stadium?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. The baseball stadium was louder than I expected. No, for real.
I was there when Mississippi State hit a grand slam to take the lead, and it was not my favorite moment of the spring, but it was a lot of people I was around's favorite moment of the spring.
It's definitely great to be there.
We'll let you go. We appreciate some time, Kelley. Thanks so much. Best of luck this year.
So much. God bless y'all.
That's Kelley Jones with Mississippi State.
Is the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt Moscona taking over for Hunt to get you to Hunt, and Chris Marler and Matt Flynn are jumping on a flight. Jacob Hester is currently in the Sirius XM room. Rivers and I are hanging out here at Radio Row, so we'll get you through AFR and then hop on a flight tonight back to Baton Rouge on a really interesting day here. This is such an interesting a configuration for SEC Media Days because what we've seen over the 15 years that we've gone, so the last decade or so, LSU was not only day one, they were first out the chute. So this was a dramatically different layout where the first 2 days was really void of star power here, with the exception of Kirby Smart and Georgia in day two. But everything really cranked up yesterday, and then with Lane and the Lane Kiffin show today, and bookending it with Steve Sarkisian in Texas, the last day was a reason that a lot of people hung around, which typically they don't by the time the fourth day is coming. A lot of people come to SEC Media Days, and there are media outlets that will come just to cover just for the day of the team they cover, their local market team, which is not an uncommon thing. And so by the time you get to day 4 and everybody else is gone, a lot of the ones that are only coming for their team are gone, so it clears out. But today, the main room was pretty full for Lane Kiffin, who started, and Steve Sarkisian, who just wrapped up in the main room as well with the Texas Longhorns. So it is the Hunt Palmer Show here, day 4 from SEC Football Media Days on Radio Row. You just heard Kelley Jones, the defensive back there from Mississippi State. State's a really interesting team this year because Jeff Lebby, he's won one league game in 2 years. And so you're talking about a guy that by year 3, especially in the NIL portal era, you got to get something going. And I had a chance earlier today to talk to Kamario Taylor. We'll let you hear that, their quarterback. You'll let you hear that interview coming up on AFR. But State's one of those teams that's in a similar boat to Kentucky and Arkansas and some of the teams that were at the bottom of the league a year ago that were close, and they're looking for the breakthrough. It happened at South Carolina a couple of years ago when Beamer broke through and got them to 9 wins. But then came the expectation, and they fell back a year ago. So now they're looking for the bounce back, sort of, or else. So what does Jeff Lebby do here in year 3? That'll be interesting. Arkansas also took their turn today with Ryan Silverfield, and you want to talk about a guy that's relatively anonymous. I mean, I think Ryan Silverfield probably could have just walked Radio Row, and many people wouldn't have even recognized him. He's the Memphis coach who got hired at Arkansas. That was something that actually I was tipped off to. It was the day that we were doing AFR at Court to Table, and Gordon McKernan sat with us and made a comment that had a degree of virality to it, where he talked about they couldn't afford not to fire Brian Kelley, basically walking through that whole day. It was on that day that I learned that Ryan Silverfield was taking the Arkansas job. So it was something that was done long before they, seemingly done long before they announced it. But Silverfield is in a similar situation where he's taken over a team that was dead last in the SEC a year ago. They won just 2 league games, and they just don't have a roster that's capable of competing because they just haven't invested in it. They've chosen to invest their resources, their NIL budget, in basketball and in baseball. And that's where they're choosing to invest to be good. And so they keep getting a lot further and further behind in football, and you're sort of seeing that in Arkansas. But I will say that game is always tricky for LSU. Especially when you're playing at Arkansas. It's going to be cold. It's Thanksgiving weekend. It's going to be a morning kickoff. And depending on what LSU is playing for, could dictate how that game goes. Because if we know what November looks like for LSU. Bama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. So the second of back-to-back road conference games following Bama, Texas. That's the end of a brutal stretch, a brutal 4-game stretch. I mean, you think a year ago you had Western Kentucky plop down in the middle of November. This is what a 9th league game does to you, is you're at Tennessee now, that penultimate weekend of the regular season. But what if LSU is sitting at 7-4? I mean, you gag thinking of it, but could LSU lose at Ole Miss? Yeah. Like, could they lose at home to Texas A&M? Sure. Like, could they trip up at Auburn? Could they lose to Bama and Texas? Could they split those games but lose at Tennessee? Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's what Vegas has LSU's over under 8.5. They're basically saying 9-3, 8-4. Now, you're expected to go to Arkansas and win, but what if you're already sitting on 4 losses? And you're out of the playoff running, and you go up to Fayetteville on a cold morning on Thanksgiving weekend, and they're fired up because they're trying to maybe play for bowl eligibility, and they're always fired up for the boot anyway. That could become an uncomfortable spot in the second of back-to-back road conference games for LSU. I'm not trying to oversell Arkansas. I don't think they're a talented football team. But Ryan Silverfield's a guy that's going to go fast. That's his thing offensively. And LSU's defense is going to have to deal with that this season because you got Silverfield at Arkansas, Levy at Mississippi State, Stein at Kentucky. Of course, we know Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss, bringing in John David Baker. They're going to go fast. I mean, you're going to face a lot of those tempo offenses. And if you're not ready, if you're flat-footed, it could be an uncomfortable day there in Northwest Arkansas. That's why LSU's got to make sure they have every goal still in front of them by the time they head up to Fayetteville on Thanksgiving weekend. All right, it is the Hunt Palmer Show. Hunt bolted to go catch his flight. We'll take you home with one final segment here on the Hunt Palmer Show, and then I'll hand it off to myself for after further review coming up here in just a smidge. Thanks for hanging out with us. Our coverage all week long here from Radio Row, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics, Parish Construction and Roofing, where tomorrow is the deadline to enter to win a free fortified roof. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Rev Fiber, proud partner of LSU Athletics, and Relief Windows, proud partner of LSU Athletics. We'll wrap up the Hunt Palmer Show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotro's Outdoor Power. Gotro's Outdoor Power. It is grass growing season. That rain's falling. That weather is warming up, and that means you got to cut that grass. Gotro's can get you behind the wheel of a zero-turn mower for $100 a month. It's a family-owned and operated business. They've been at it 22 years. That's why you should do business with them, not just because it's family-owned and operated, although doing business with local folks is always something that we endorse, but because the customer service that you get from someone in your community that's able to see you face-to-face, have a relationship with you, that's important. And that's why they do business the way they do at Gotro's. When I say family-owned and operated, don't misconstrue that as a small business. They're the National Hustler Deal of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. They've got the largest hustler inventory in the state, largest parts inventory in the state. So if you need a zero-turn mower, you can get one from the big box stores. I wouldn't recommend it. You may never hear from them again. That will never be the case at Gotro's Outdoor Power. You can find them at 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and, of course, in Gonzales as well. It's Gotro's Outdoor Power. They're online at gotrosonline.com.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
All right, wrapping up a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
I feel like Jimmy Ott over here eating my food directly in the microphone.
Why you gotta do it to my guy?
I've never heard anyone eat more food than I have Jimmy Ott on this radio station.
No, you just never heard anyone eat more food. Period. Dude eats food every day into a microphone.
Just right into it.
Right into the microphone. When you can hear the fork like hit the plate too.
The crunching.
Maybe hit his teeth every now and again.
I love you, Jimmy Ott, but you do eat a lot of food.
I do love Jimmy Ott so much. Rivers is here on site, and as is customary here on the Hunt Palmer Show, we wrap it up with Take It or Leave It, and I told Rivers, like, you're going to do Take It or Leave It with me as well. And she's like, no. I was like, yeah, you're going to do it. Well, she shoved a protein bar?
Yeah.
Granola bar into her mouth. She's like, do I have to come over there meeting on camera? I said, no, sit right there. She's like, okay, I'm in. All right, so Jordan, hit it. Take it or leave it. Let's do it.
Take it or leave it. it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Tyreek Hill says he still has no power in his left leg 10 months later after having two knee surgeries to fix a dislocated knee and multiple ligament tears he suffered in a Week 4 loss last season to the New York Jets, indicating the free agent wide receiver could still be a long way from returning to the NFL at 32 years old. Is this the end of Tyreek Hill? Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Okay, I would first like to say that. Sorry, that's my computer. That's
Oh no.
No, that's fine. I just need to hit mute on this. First of all, I don't like in that drop, like the intro, that it says, "Will he take them or leave them?"
Oh yeah, because we're not taking it or leave it.
It's
No, but I
take
hear
it
what
or
you're saying.
leave it.
I don't think I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I feel like he's 32 years old.
Yeah.
It's only been 10 months. That's pretty invasive surgery. I mean, am I wrong here?
So are you taking them or leaving
I
them?
think that his career is not over. I guess I'm taking that his career is not over.
Yeah, which is the question, Jordan? What are we taking or leaving? Oh yeah, that's the other reason I wanted you to do this, because it's the Mississippi State guy. That's the I'll take it. You know, play it again, Jordan.
I'll take it.
Baseball championship.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Oh,
It's your baseball
look at that,
championship
look at
call.
that, look at that.
There you go, Ribs.
What was that?
Yeah, I don't really understand the question. What's next?
All right. All right. Four Minnesota Twins have scheduled their weddings for the same day in the offseason. MLB posted on X today that Brooks Lee, Luke Keishler, Ryan Kreider, and Cole Sands are set to marry their four prospective fiancés on November 14th. So I know you don't like fall weddings, but four teammates having a fall wedding. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
I think I got to take it here because
I'll take
people
it.
who play
I'll take it.
professional baseball, and I mean it's truly the only time they can get married. I mean it's it for them.
What was the question?
Are we taking it or leaving? These four baseball players, the Twins, they're all. You're listening to any of these questions?
Not really.
They're all getting married on the same weekend, right, Jordan?
Yes, correct. Yes, correct.
And so, are we taking these fall weddings or are we leaving it? I mean, I think it's really the only time they can get
You
married.
can marry in January or February.
Leave it alone.
Pitchers and catchers report in
Leave it
February.
alone.
That's true.
So I'm leaving it. Leaving it.
But they also live in Minnesota. They may not care about
They're not
college
getting married
football.
in Minnesota.
I'm just saying they might be.
They play baseball in Minnesota. Nobody lives in Minnesota. They play baseball in Minnesota, and then they go live in a nice place, not Minnesota,
true.
where it's 7 degrees on a hot day.
I think I'm going to take it.
No, not taking it. No, I'm leaving it.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
All right, so the Basketball Hall of Fame will launch a new exhibit this weekend to dedicate Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry, representing the first time in nearly the 75 year of the NBA that an active player will be honored with the walls with a dedicated exhibit. The exhibit, titled The Steph Curry Beyond the Arc, will open to the public in Springfield, Massachusetts on Friday. It will include Olympic gold, championship artifacts, game more gear, some more artifacts, some shoes, and a whole bunch of Steph Curry stuff. So is Steph Curry deserving to be the first player in NBA history to be honored in the Hall of Fame while still playing? Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
What do you think, Ribs?
He's the first player that's been
Jordan's
honored.
questions are not concise.
No, it's not Jordan's
I don't
fault. I
understand.
think I zoned out a little
Okay,
bit there.
Mom.
So he's the first.
not
He's the first
Jordan's
player
fault.
that's being honored while playing. I think that's kind of crazy. No.
So, if I understand, it's just an exhibit. He's not being inducted.
It's an exhibit.
With the
It's an exhibit.
So, like in the NFL, I remember like when
So
Alvin
he's not being-
Kamara
okay.
had like 6 touchdowns on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
and he had his
Yeah.
Grinch cleats. They put the Grinch
Oh,
cleats
yeah.
in the Hall of Fame. They had an exhibit. So I'm like, I don't care.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'll take
Or
it.
are we leaving it?
I'll take it.
No, we're taking
taking-
the exhibit. We like the exhibit.
So we're taking the exhibit. That was the question. Are we taking an exhibit? Not are we leaving him being a inductee?
We're taking the exhibit.
I'll listen to that one.
We were taking that he's the first player to still be an active player to have an exhibit in the Hall of Fame. Nobody else has done that in 75 years at NBA. 5 years at NBA.
We're taking it.
Is the Hall of Fame 75 years old, or is it younger than 75?
I have no idea.
Well, you just said 75 years of the
Let's get-
NBA.
okay,
I'm just
next question.
I'm trying to get an accurate timeline of this. Okay, we got any more?
That's it for take it or leave it.
We really nailed that, didn't we, Jordan?
Darn it. I was really hoping that would continue some more. I still don't know what he was talking about with Tyreek Hill, with ligaments and weight bearing. And
He's saying that he had the surgery 10 months ago.
Okay.
And he's still having problems with it, right, Jordan?
So can he play still? That's the
question. Is his career over?
Is his career over?
I think that 10 months post-surgery is a little early to call someone
I'm
done.
leaving that. I'm leaving that. Tyreek Hill ain't done. Cheetah. He might be like old Cheetah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But old Cheetah's still Cheetah. And the only thing an old Cheetah can't outrun is a young Cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
And young Cheetahs, I don't think, try to kill old Cheetahs. So Cheetah's still going to cheetah. I'm leaving that. All right.
Good job, Jordan.
We have the most positive, encouraging person alive. That is Ashley Rivers-Huey right there. And I know that because her name is on the
Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com is that website. Look, storm season is around the corner. Maybe you don't feel like you need a new roof. You don't have any leaking issues that you know of. The roof's a little bit older, but you don't see it discolored. It's not giving you problems. But you're a little bit nervous what a storm might do. Well, they don't have to put a new roof on. They can at Lifetime Roofing, but they can come over and they can do a tune-up to reinforce that roof. So you feel like you've got more peace of mind as storm season approaches. It's just part of our life down here in South Louisiana. We know storm season can be rough. We've had a couple of quiet ones in a row. I hope there's 10 more to come just like it. But I think we all know that that's unlikely. If you want to take care of that big investment, which is your house, take care of the people under your roof, which is the most important thing in your life, and want to make sure that your roof is in the best shape it can be to do that, Lifetime Roofing is a company you can trust. They're Baton Rouge-based, Louisiana people, give you a lifetime workmanship warranty.